Google Cloud says MCP is the new middleware for AI agents. I've wired 20 tools into client agents this year, and I disagree. Below 3 tools per agent, MCP costs you more than it saves. If you're a solo founder about to bolt an MCP layer onto a 2-tool agent because a keynote told you to, you're about to pay a tax with no discount. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the exact crossover point, measured in minutes and dollars, from 3 live agents I run daily. Most tutorials skip the math. I ran it. Let's start with what onboarding a tool actually costs. Here's the part nobody quantifies. When I say I onboarded a tool into an agent, I mean 4 specific things: authentication and token refresh, schema definition, so the LLM knows what arguments to pass, error handling with retries and backoff, and logging, so I can debug at 2 a.m. when a client's automation misfires. That's the unit of work. Every time someone shows you a slick MCP demo, they're hiding those 4 steps behind a 1-line install. The steps still exist, they just moved. So I measured. Across 3 live agents I run for clients on a home server, one that triages inbound email and pushes tasks to chat, one that generates and dispatches invoices for a small services business, and one that runs lead qualification for an agency. I logged the wall clock time to add every new tool. Raw API integration averaged 45 minutes per tool. That includes reading the docs, wiring the auth, writing the function schema the model calls, and shipping error handling I actually trust. Using an existing MCP server for the same tool averaged 8 minutes. On paper, MCP wins by a mile. But wall clock onboarding isn't the whole cost. Here's what the demo videos leave out. Every MCP server you add is another process, another version to pin, another set of logs in a different format, another surface that can silently break when the upstream vendor changes a field. On a 2-tool agent, that overhead is pure loss. You spent 8 minutes instead of 45, but now you're maintaining a server layer that has nothing to amortize against. Watch what happens on a 1-tool agent. A client came to me with a single job, read a shared inbox, classify each message into one of 6 categories, drop the classification into one of 6 categories, drop the classification into their CRM. 1 tool out. Raw API 47 lines of Python. Latency from email arrival to CRM update, under 2 seconds. Debugging when it breaks. 1 log file, 1 process, grep, and go. If I had wrapped that in MCP, I'd have added roughly 300 to 800 milliseconds per call, a second process to babysit, and exactly 0 reusability, because there is no second agent that needs the same tool. That's the tax with no discount. 2 tools is the same story, just closer to the line. An invoicing agent for a small services business needed to read Gmail for incoming purchase orders and write invoices into their accounting system. 2 tools, 1 agent, 1 client. Raw API integration for both took about 90 minutes total. It's been running for months. When the accounting vendor deprecated an endpoint, I fixed it in 1 file in about 12 minutes. If those 2 tools had been behind MCP servers, I'd have been chasing the fix across 2 repos, checking version compatibility, and retesting the discovery layer. Not worth it. Now the crossover. Tool number 3 is where the math flips, and it flips hard. On the agency lead qualification agent, I had email, a CRM, and a calendar tool all in play. And here's the key detail. I had a second agent that also needed the calendar and the CRM. The moment a tool gets reused across agents, MCP's discovery and shared metadata start earning their keep. I wrote 1 MCP server for the CRM. 2 agents pointed at it. When the CRM added a new field, I updated 1 place. Both agents picked it up. That's the discount finally showing up. So here's the decision tree I actually use, and it takes about 10 seconds. First question, how many tools does this agent call? If it's 1 or 2, stop. Raw, API. Ship it. Second question, if it's 3 or more, are any of those tools going to be reused by another agent I'm building for this client or another client on the same stack? If yes, MCP for the shared ones, raw API for the one-offs. If no, still probably raw API, because the discovery layer only pays off when something is doing the discovering. Third question, is there a human waiting on the response? If someone is staring at a chat window waiting for the agent to reply, every extra hop through an MCP server is latency they feel. Latency critical. Human-in-the-loop paths stay on raw APIs regardless of tool count. Where I still flat-out refuse MCP, single-purpose agents that do one job forever. Anything where the P95 latency budget is under a second. And any path where a human is actively waiting. I don't care how many tools it uses. If a human is watching a spinner, I'm not adding a middleware layer to make the architecture prettier. The honest summary, MCP is real. It works, and it will absolutely be the middleware layer for agents that run across many tools and many clients. But most solopreneur agents, the ones actually saving businesses 10 to 30 hours a week, never cross the 3-tool threshold in a way that matters. They're small, focused, and reused inside one workflow. For those, raw API integration wins on latency, wins on cost, wins on debug time, and wins on the number of moving parts you have to keep alive at 2 a.m. Google's demo shows Gmail plus Notion plus Jira, because that's exactly the shape where MCP starts paying back. If your agent doesn't look like that shape yet, don't buy the tax. One last receipt. Across the 3 agents I run daily, I've logged onboarding time for 20 plus tools. The pattern is boring and consistent. Tools 1 and 2, raw, API, no regrets. Tool 3 onward, and only if reused, MCP earns its slot. Everything else is architecture cosplay. If you want the decision tree as a one-pager, plus the tool-by-tool onboarding log from 3 live agents, it's on BizflowAI.io. That's where we publish the actual solutions we ship for clients, from inbox triage to invoicing to lead quality. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next agent breakdown lands in your feed. And if you've got a workflow you want automated and you're not sure whether it needs MCP, raw APIs, or 40 lines of Python, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io. I'll tell you straight,